As you can see, I've already started pre-assembling some of the items. Got the water block, basic elbows and everything installed. Ran out of matching fittings, but this one back here won't be seen once the top hat is on. Well, I guess it's not a top hat. But once the lid is put on with the radiator, neither will the one behind it. Took out this other fan down here in the bottom just for convenience. Installed a couple of inline temp sensors. There's going to be one right here, and then there's another one going to be coming off on the CPU side as well. It's going to go right. I think it's going to. I'm going to put it probably at the top of the radiator on this side when it comes up in there. One thing to note that was really tricky in this area is I had to use these double 45s or a double rotary, whatever you would like to call them, in order to clear the stock mounting hardware for here. And the only reason why I was able to get this hard 90 is because I replaced one of the mounting screws underneath there with a much shorter version, still long enough to catch the back plate, but that was the only way that it allowed me to get there. And the top of this fan is going to come over into here underneath and through all this mess. In this size build, I thought it was really important to install most of the cables so that way you could see what your occlusions would be, what you would have to work around. And then there's a little bit of a gap right here between the side of the power supply and the front of the case. It is going to allow me to traverse up to the top, where the radiator is going to be sitting up here. This next one, I took care of most of the hard work using hard fittings. I had these laying around, thankfully. And this is what my fittings are actually going to look like that the pipes go into. This is just a double 45 into a 90 coming out of the pump. It's going to be kind of tricky, but I'm planning on using this right here as a reservoir. The reason why I wound up mounting this in this orientation, because I originally was wanting it to be up the other way, is this bad boy right here. The height and this distance right here is too small to fit any type of elbow or rotary or anything in there with this. My SSD and my chipset are in here, so I thought it was pretty important. I'm going to try to shoehorn a pipe coming straight up here, and it's going to be a J into a 90. So that pipe is going to be coming up right through there, over the top, down, and then across into here. And then out of here, focus. There we go. I might have to not be able to use this temp sensor there because from this angle that's looking like this is a little too far back, and I could take that temp sensor out and bring this 90 back this way. Then I'm going to plug both sides of this block. Fluid will go through here, come out, and it's going to come out of here and then up into the radiator. I've been working on rebuilding my bending board here. Just trying to decide where I want to set the mandrels out. This would be a great one for the J. I got a 45, my 90, and then for your real crazy stuff, this 360. This is a monsoon kit. I've had it for quite a while. So this is the tubing I'm going to be using. It's just regular PETG. Stuff's cheap, so especially if this is your first time doing any hardline, buy a lot of it. I bought 4 3-foot tubes. It was like 30 bucks, you know, and that's really not that bad. Make sure it's nice and clean because when you start putting the heat to this, anything that is on the surface will show up. Also, this is not meant to be a tutorial, it's just my experience and basically a build dog. I've yet to name this system. There we go. Give that a shot. I'm going to wind up using this. Apologize. To make my 90 off of this side here. That'll allow me to get the... I might actually put it over here because this is a lot straighter further up into the corner. These corners aren't even. If this was a little wider because of how the sandwich is. Okay. Alright. Double check. Pretty sure this is going to be good now. So hopefully you can see that. I can't lay this. Can I? But that's what we're looking like right there now. It's got a couple of mils of clearance between the bottom of the radiator. The reason why I'm not going to go any shorter is because I'm gonna need not a lot, but I'm gonna need a section of this that's the depth of one of these fittings to have a good mount. That's the depth of one of these fittings to have a good mount connection right there, because I'm gonna cheat and use a 90. Then that's where I'm going to put my temp sensor. Then I'm going to remove this one. It's in here. So I did a lot more work off camera. It was pretty difficult as far as getting everything lined up, but this fitting right down here in this fan is technically within the hub of the fan, and then it's also tight to the bottom of the RAM slots. So there was a lot of flexing and oohing and ahhing in order to get that in there. And this pipe right here is touching all these fans. It is perfectly straight across there, and that's the only way that I was able to get it to go. And then I also had to actually undo the front of the top hat and put the compression fitting onto the end of the hose pipe, and then lift up the front, put the fitting to the radiator, thread the fitting into the radiator, and then as the threading went into the radiator, then the top hat came back down and sat where it's supposed to sit. Getting this sleeve and everything on that one was a complete and utter pain. I do not recommend for a first time water-cooled build custom to be in a mini RTX chassis. This was fun for me. It was very challenging and I enjoyed it, but even I got frustrated and had to take a few breaks, come back and look at it some more. I don't think I could have done the loop layout given the size constraints and the space any different than I did. I am rather disappointed on this side over here. With this monstrosity of fittings right there, but it fit the bill and I got it done. The next question is how am I going to fill this? I do have these ports right here on the GPU that are very easily accessible, and honestly that's probably where I'm going to go with this. It's not a great idea because I want to be able to see everything as I start putting fluid in it, but I'll probably just lay it down like this, so that way everything can flow at least part way into the radiator and start flowing down into the CPU block, and I ought to be able to get a bit of it